Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the Reese part number 399D. This is what's called an adjustable door stop. Dark bronze anodized aluminum sponge neoprene insert is what this is. So let's take some basic dimensional properties of this, and then we're going to talk about what it is. The thickness of the material looks like it's about 7/8. The height of the aluminum extrusion, or the aluminum casing itself, is 1.5 inches. That's what I've got the sponge neoprene drawn all the way up. So what I want to do now is just quickly adjust. By the way, this is an adjustable door stop. I want to throw that out so that we can determine a maximum value for reach. Yeah, okay, here we go. And the only reason that slides real easily is, well, because it's not installed. Plus, you'd probably want to get in here. When this is installed, it won't slide at all. In fact, you'd have to remove it. The ultimate projection of the insert itself looks like it's about 1/2 inch. So now, why is that important? Why would you need something adjustable like this? Well, lots of reasons, in fact. And let's talk about that right now. So, first of all, this is this could be perimeter gasketing. It could also be used literally as a stop on a cased opening frame as well. So, this is adjustable in the sense that, as you saw earlier, I can detail or set the amount of projection of the sponge neoprene. Why that would be important is because it sure does make it easier to weather strip a door that has not been hung true plumb level and square. It does also help you within reason to be able to weather seal a door that's bowed or warped to within reason. The ability to have a door weather stripped for either, thermal properties or acoustical properties, whatever it might be, is crucial, most certainly when you have a fire door. And the fact that it's adjustable allows you to tailor the amount of contact between the door and the face of the sponge neoprene so that you get that perfect balance of seal and latching. It's a fire door. 3 things for a fire door. Must be free swinging, must be self-closing, must be self-latching. Sometimes when weather stripping is installed, your closer no longer gets the door latched. The ability to tailor this allows you to do that really well. Now, generally you'll find in these much larger footprint style gasketing is that they are adjustable and that they are used as a stop. So if you were going to build a cased opening frame, let's say windows, 1.75 inches, whatever thickness, 2 inch thick. Let's say you were doing 1.5 inch thick windows, thermal glass. You were starting with 8/4 lumber, whatever it might be, and you don't want stops all the way around, but you need to weather seal it. But you still need a way to stop these 2 windows. You could literally think of the exterior facade of a restaurant. In the summer, they want to open up all their windows. In the winter, they want to close all their windows. And this does 2 jobs. It seals, and it also acts as a stop by which the door stops against. So it is possibly used for that application as well. Now, this is the 399. The 399 means this is what it is. This is what its cross-section looks like. Its height, its width, its insert sponge neoprene, its dimensional properties, the fact that it's adjustable with these screws that you see here and here. Those are going to continue on down the length. This is a 12-inch sample piece for purposes of this video, and it's attached right through this countersunk area here. Okay, this was the stop or gasketing. Now, I had mentioned earlier it's 7/8. Now, that's really important to think about because you might want this sort of gasketing on a door. Let's talk about why 7/8 is important to keep up here. Let's say that you've got a 2 3/4 back set. Okay, great. Let's say that you've got a grade 1 lever with a 3 1/4 inch diameter rose. 3 1/4 inch diameter rose, I'm just using a number that I know exists. Half of that is 1 5/8. Okay, 1 5/8. If you add to 1 5/8, 0.875, you're going to be at 2.5 inch. So my point is, from the oh no, we've got to be even more careful. We have to add the projection of the stop. Whoopsie, we have a problem. You've got more material to stick on that door, on the frame, than will actually fit. Let's go over the math again. And the reason I go over this is because most everything that a person learns in the door hardware industry is unfortunately by mistakes and learning from them. An architect had specified, well, it wasn't the architect's fault. I mean, I detailed the job according to the way that the plans were drawn, and they wanted really thick gasketing, not Reese, but a similar manufacturer. 2 3/4 back set, grade 1 cylindrical lever locks. Client calls up, there's only one of these openings. Yep, nope, it won't fit. And I said, oh boy, it won't fit. So the back set is 2 3/4. From the center of the door to the edge, from the edge of the door to the center of the hole is 2 3/4. Just keep that here. 3 1/4 rosette diameter. Half of that is 1 5/8. Think of that as the center line of the hole over to where the rose is going to stop. 1 5/8. 2 3/4 minus 1 5/8 is 1 1/8. Okay. So from the edge of the door to where the rose starts, it's 1 1/8. You're mounting this on the push side, on the soffit of the frame. Let's say that the projection of the soffit is typical hollow metal, it's 5/8. That's ½ inch between the soffit and the edge of the rose. This is 7/8. It's not going to fit. So be mindful when you're installing this or thinking about this material, it won't fit on a standard 2 3/4 back set. So what do? Obviously go with something thinner, or go with a 3 3/4 back set. That's not unusual, especially in commercial applications where you will absolutely see this. Maybe a 5-inch back set, things of that nature. Another thing to talk about when using this gasketing is a trick that I like to recommend to customers. Let's talk about that now. If you've not hit subscribe yet, we would very much appreciate if you did, and hopefully you're enjoying this video. Now, let's get back to it. The trick that I'm referring to is, if you're installing this for gasketing, you're going to want to have it actually sealed. You're spending a lot of money on this material. It is not inexpensive, to be sure. At the time of this video, Q2 of 2023, this material is $30 a foot. By the time you're seeing this, who knows? Perimeter gasketing, a header and 2 jams. Jams go on, header goes on. You're butting them together. If you are losing all of this space here from where the other piece is going to butt to this. The trick is, order them longer, a couple inches will do it, and miter them. There is no steel in this other than the screws, the adjusting screws, which you'll certainly need to be. Yeah, definitely those adjusting screws. This is all aluminum. That magnet's not going to stick to it. You get to where the adjusting screws are, you're going to hit steel. Everything else is aluminum, which means a miter saw, carbide tipped circular saw blade. You'll be able to take this. I don't know that you'd want to compound it. I wouldn't. I would be just mitering it this way. Compounding's for wood. Your blade is. And I'm not an expert, but I think that blade is not going to really take to this very well. I'd be mitering it like this, is what I would be doing. Miter it. Order it long, miter it in the field, or order it from the factory mitered. There's going to be an upcharge to it. There's likely an upcharge to it. It won't be substantial, but at least that way you're getting a much more cohesive, continuous seal, is what really the point is. Also, what you have to think about with this bad boy is, where are you going to install the parallel arm bracket for the door closer? This is not going to permit that. So you're going to need to think about now your jam depth. You know, is the soffit dimension adequate to get all of your hardware installed? This is a big piece of equipment that needs to be accounted for. Door closers, surface vertical rod exit device strikes, rim devices where you can't attach your rim exit device strike to this. I've seen it, but you can't do that. So you've got to be mindful of all of that. One thing that is done in those applications is that a offset bracket is used to attach the hardware to. This sneaks in behind the offset bracket. The problem with that idea is all of your back sets, all of your dimensions on your templates are now changed. So be mindful of that. When you're stuffing this through, when you're stuffing this into an opening, your best bet is to look at, start with absorbing the cut sheets, the catalog product brochure, and then finally the templates and installation instructions, and go through the process of your tape measure or your combination, rule, marking where all your holes will be before you whack those with the center punch to drill. Make sure everything looks like it's going to fit together. This is an abnormally large piece of weather stripping that you need to think about it. Let's switch to the screen view and let's take a closer look at all the supporting information. If you've not hit subscribe yet, we would very much appreciate if you did, and hopefully you're enjoying this video. Now, let's get back to it. Here is the item that we are looking at from Reese. 399D, adjustable, this happens to be a 24-inch piece. Adjustable doorstop, dark bronze anodized, sponge neoprene insert. If you need this to be used on a fire-rated application, be sure to specify that so that the UL label will be included. Hardware, almost all hardware on fire doors must be labeled. If you don't have visual evidence of it being permissible for use on a fire door, you no longer have a fire door, so be mindful of that. Smoke and draft control tested. These products have been fire rated for use as perimeter seals only and shall not be used in lieu of an integral pressed steel stop on, fire rated application. So what they're saying there is, this is used as a stop, but this is not to be used as a substitute for a stop on a fire-rated opening. Applying this to a cased opening frame doesn't give you the same ability to be compliant as this does. You need a stop. That's what they're saying. This is no good for a fire door. For heavy use, these part numbers feature a captive adjustment screw drilled and tapped into the solid bar. One side of each piece mitered if ordered in sets. Yeah, so there you go. Order it, and we'll be able to order it in sets for you if you want them mitered. Where adjustable door stops are applied on top of existing stops, it is recommended that locks have a 3 3/4 back set to be used to allow adequate space between the doorknob, which really is the rose, and the weather stripping. Product brochure, we'll take a look at that. That will show us the 399 and sister products from Reese. Here's our 399 right here. Okay. Thinner ones. None of them get larger. This is really nice, this 499. You're getting the seal coming and going. You're sealing against the door, but any intrusion is going to get caught on this sponge neoprene. If you're looking to really seal a door, this would be a great option, assuming you're making all the other considerations. Okay. You'll note that our 399 does not feature that sponge neoprene, which they're alluding to in the 599. Now the 599, you're going to show, it's going to come up as used in their STC applications. They'll be able to get STC high 40s for sure. The 399 does not carry that same listing for acoustical ratings. So let's type in STC. Oh, it won't be here. I'll show it to you in a moment. So this is the cut sheet really of this item. There's a link here called installation. It basically says measure twice and cut once. There's a link below this video as seen here to the manufacturer's page within our site. When you click on that, you'll be able to pull up not only all of the Reese products we sell by means of this horizontal navigation, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. And when we open that, I can do a find function on my keyboard for STC. Oh, okay, STC 51 with that $5.99. So you can hit you can hit a very respectable STC level with their $5.99 gasketing. You're going to get STC ratings north of 51, mid 50s. They just get far more involved and costly when you get north of these, the upper 40s, really. This catalog is extremely valuable because it shows you all things Reese, and I am an unapologetic fan of Reese. They're my first and last choice when it comes to gasketing. The only time I go away from them is when they don't have something a profile that I need. They do not have the largest offering of material, but it is very rare that I can't get from Reese something that suits my application perfectly. Hardware compatible gasketing is something to be thought about. We mentioned trouble with getting material installed. Hardware compatible gasketing is used because it's just really a solid bar of aluminum that you can drill through. You can install parallel arm brackets, exit device strikes and whatnot to those. Okay. Bristle. Reese does a job that no one else does. They offer polyurethane as an insert on their material. No one else offers it. Polyurethane is all but impervious to most environmental attacks. Friction, ultraviolet, mildew, fungus. It just is so durable that it's the absolute item of choice for long-term durability, especially friction. When a client has an installation where I know the sweep is going to drag on the concrete, polyurethane's the way to go. It's just going to hold up a lot better. It will certainly be the most expensive, but it will certainly be a lower cost per day, so to speak. On that manufacturer's page, I did want to point out this video. This video allows you to look at all of the different Reese finishes. Here's our D finish. That is solid bronze and a mill finish. That is clear anodized. Just a handy way to be able to see what they're doing there. Let's wrap up this video on camera. I hope this video gave you some insight as to when to use these large adjustable stops, is really what they are. You'll note that this dark bronze, the D finish, it's quite lighter than it was in our video, and it depends on how the light is hitting it, but right about there where you see that a richer golden, deep dark golden color comes through, the Reese material is absolutely the preferred finish on aluminum when it pertains to matching a true oil rub bronze finish. No manufacturer's anodized dark bronze matches true oil rubbed like the Reese product does. Other manufacturers are either dark or very dark. And I've had people even call and say, yeah, you shipped me black. No, I didn't, because that manufacturer doesn't offer black. That manufacturer's dark bronze is so dark that the only way you know that it's not black is when you hold it up to something that's truly black. Then you can tell that it's, oh, yep, it's not black. Now you can really see the contrast a lot better. So be mindful of that. If you're looking for something that is dark, then go with those manufacturers. Reese would not be that answer because it is literally that light. Nobody beats their ability to produce and ship orders faster, more predictably, more reliably. They are not the least expensive. They're never going to be. If you're looking for execution of a contract and you budgeted this much for door sweeps, look for someone else, in my opinion. But the quality of their polyurethane is unmatchable, and their hardware always seems to be heavier than everyone else's, and that's because when you put the caliper, which was in that case, on their extrusions, they're thicker, is the bottom line. Anyway, any questions on the Reese? This is their part number 399D, or any other Reese product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you very much. Thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.